And as a special surprise, which is, well, why I'm going to need a change of clothing soon, I hear we have Art Bell on the phone. Hi, Art.
Hello there.
Oh, my gosh.
How are you?
That's unbelievable.
Doing well. How are you?
I hope my nervousness doesn't show.
I'm quite stunned. I'm going to go over here in the corner and just listen to everybody else talk.
So, Art, are you annoyed with us yet? I always have the feeling that when you hear these shows where everyone's sitting around henpecking everything you're doing and the things that you're talking about publicly, that it's probably annoying for you. I'm wondering if my perception on that is correct.
No, it isn't. Otherwise, it would have gone away.
Okay. Well,
you make a good point.
Well, I guess I'll say I'm so supremely depressed with the fact that we can't hear your radio show anymore, and I don't care in what capacity we hear it, from where, what the platform is, just the logistics of how it happens. Is there anything you can say to make me less depressed?
Not that I can think of. I'll say this. Look, it is what it is. I was surprised, like everybody else, when Coast suddenly showed up on 104. I guess not, when I say surprised, not that surprised, because I had a feeling something was going on, and sure enough it was. I think that George may have posted something suggesting that they were in negotiations, and he may have mentioned something about paying. So whether or not any money changed hands in this deal, I don't know. But if it did, that certainly changes the equation a little bit. Look,
I don't want to be too petty here, but I can't think of anybody wanting to listen to George unless he did pay them. So I apologize, but
you know, it was funny. I turned on the show for just a few minutes last night, and I heard George ask somebody, I swear to God, if the typhoon, which is now in Vietnam, was causing the rain in Hawaii, and I shook my head and turned it back off again.
So Hawaii's not next to Vietnam, then?
But can you see it from your backyard? That's the question.
See, that would have been logistically really great during the Vietnam War. We would have had just such awesome mechanics at our disposal during Vietnam had it just been right there off the coast of Vietnam, but it's not.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I am constantly
here
amazed.
We are. It is what it is. In other words, they've put that show on. So all the time I was waiting for some word from Sirius XM. Apparently, that's what was going on behind the scenes. So that's a done deal. Now, the only question left in my mind is the non-compete. And there is a non-compete, and yes, I did sign that. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand that with radio or television or motion pictures or whatever, anytime you sign an agreement, it always contains a non-compete. Always. I mean, that's standard. So I'm left dealing with that and what to do. Well, initially I thought, you know, why fight it? But my opinion now is go ahead and legally challenge it, and so we'll see if we can deal with the non-compete. If we can, then we'll go ahead and do a show. And I'll do what I said I would do and stream for free at that. I kind of find it ironic, somewhat hypocritical, that during the time that I was in negotiations with Sirius XM to simply allow me to stream, because the streaming wasn't working over there well at all, they ended up going with somebody who did exactly what they said they didn't want to do.
That is the craziest thing.
They just bring in an inferior product that's got even less no exclusivity, and the guy that everyone really does want to hear is not going to be allowed on the air. Hi, do you have a question for Art Bell? Hello?
Man, we lost him.
Okay, well, I understand the nervousness. It is the great Art Bell.
It's not the great Art Bell. I'm just me, guys. I'm not absorbed with myself.
Well, Art, I have a question, and my instinctive take on this was, I'm tired of people saying that there were no streaming problems and that Art's just blowing smoke up everybody's, but I had the problems. There's post after post after post after post on the forum of people having the problems. So my question is this. Does a contract of the nature of what you signed, does it typically contain a provision that requires your boss, the company, the platform through which you're broadcasting, to transmit the show to the listener in an appropriate, reasonable fashion? And if that provision does exist and they don't do it, aren't they in breach, and doesn't that cancel everything?
That is certainly an appropriate argument. Sure, it is an appropriate argument, and one that we will make if we get to that point. So if we challenge the non-compete, yeah, of course, that's going to be an issue. That was the issue that stopped the show. And as I said in a message I think that I posted earlier, I would do the same thing again if faced with the same situation. A lot of people had no idea what was going on behind the scenes, and what was going on was meeting after meeting after meeting, and I told SiriusXM that this would affect our partnership if something wasn't done. So we had phone conferences with the brass at SiriusXM about the streaming problem, and there was a lot of talk, but the problem is still there now. And there are aspects to this that I know of that I can't discuss because I did receive the information confidentially. But, you know, if it gets to a court challenge of the non-compete, then it'll be a different story.
Oh, please, God, challenge it. Hi, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Art Bell?
Yes. Just want to say, well, I'm not sure if we're still saying Roswell, but it's good to talk at any...
No, you're not allowed to say that, but continue.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to ask him, like, if you thought, like, you know, there's, you know, if you would want to do this, if George Knapp was, you know, a full-time host, or if, you know, someone of like that caliber was the host of Coast to Coast, if he would just be okay in retirement rather than, you know, fighting the non-compete or even signing with Sirius.
You know, I said a long time ago that if George Knapp, who is a great guy, was the host of Coast to Coast, I wouldn't have even tried to come back with Dark Matter.
Okay, let me stop you right there, because I've listened to George Knapp, and I like him, don't get me wrong, but man, I don't know how to say this to you. And I'm not trying to blow sunshine up anybody's rear end here. You really, man, you were a big part of my nights for a decade, and I miss that. And I don't want you to ever try to minimize that and thinking that, you know, well, George Knapp can do it, because they can't. I've never heard anyone be able to master the radio the way you do. And
well, the question is, why can't people do that today? Why is there not another Art Bell that's come up?
No one can encapsulate. If you could answer that question, there would be multitudes of Art Bells. And I will say this:
right,
the genre itself, and Art, not trying to blow more smoke, but we may never speak again, so I gotta get it in. I've never really cared about the genre enough to listen to it being discussed by anybody other than Art Bell. I've listened to all the replacement hosts on Coast. You can go listen to as many podcasts as you want, but there's just something intangible about Art Bell talking about this stuff that you can't, you just don't find anywhere else.
And we don't want to make you uncomfortable with the compliments, but we want you to understand that you know, by saying, well, shit, I've said enough. Sorry. Go ahead.
Look, thank you all very much. I really appreciate that. You know, I'm just me. I'm not.
We get that. We get that. But just you is pretty important to us.
And Art, also, I'm sure there was a period of time on the forum as you announced your departure from SiriusXM. I'm sure there was a point at which you said to yourself, "Holy, you know what? I mean, these people are supposed to be my fans. I can't believe some of the anger and vitriol and just the visceral nature of things that I'm seeing right now." But you got to understand that people are so passionate about you and the product you deliver and their desire to hear you back on the radio that's just sort of how it manifested itself as people were in shock and they just didn't know how to deal with things. And I'm guessing you've probably reached that conclusion yourself already without me having to say that to you.
I am just as passionate, if not more so, than my audience. I love it. You know, I absolutely love it. And for anybody who thought I wanted to quit, boy, is that wrong.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, Art. Hi, Art. It's Ross. Just want to say thank you for the many years of amazing shows. You know, I, like many people, hope that you fight the non-compete. I know it's something that would be a battle, and I wouldn't blame you if you just said, you know what, screw it, I don't want to go through that. But, you know, I just want to say that I would love it if you're back on there, as everybody else would.
Thank you so much. I'd love it too. So we're going to see what happens. I said that I would follow this through, and I said that I would get to streaming and for free if I could. That's my goal, and I'm still trying to do it. So,
hey, Art, I have a question for you in that regard. Sure. Are you concerned at all? I mean, you were, I don't know what the word is to use. I'm still nervous because I'm talking to you, but you were bothered by the fact that it seemed as though your base just wasn't there, possibly because of the platform itself. The streaming issues certainly did not help, particularly as far as getting new subscribers was concerned. And so I'm kind of curious as to what your thoughts are, what your expectations would be if you were to just stream through your website. Do you think that you would have an uphill battle there in rebuilding your base and getting an established audience there? Do you think that would be a problem?
Not for a minute, no. I think that if we offered a free stream and we offered a quality product, and I consider, by the way, that Dark Matter was a quality product.
As do I.
I think we all agree.
We were just getting off the ground, and it would have become better and better and better. But there was not a viable future with the streaming problems we had. Now, again, I offered them within 48 hours a proposal that we simply continue as we were, except that I would be allowed to stream either for a year or until the streaming problems were fixed. They said no, and then turned around, within a week, and put on a show that was an awful lot more public in terms of radio stations and streaming and all the rest of it than we were proposing to do. We were only proposing to stream 4 live hours for 4 days. It would not have brought the walls of Jericho down.
Well, Art, do you think that helps your position on the non-compete, being able to say, look at what they did in light of what I offered them? Is that going to help you think, in your position to be able to say,
well,
hey?
I think a lot of things that, unfortunately, I can't talk about would help in trying to defeat a non-compete. In other words, things were said and things were
so if you were to give
asserted that I can't talk about right now. I'm really sorry.
No, that's all right.
That's okay. And Jasmunda, hi. You got a question for Art? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, hi, Art. I'm Andy from Australia. Spoke to you a few times on your show, and I just wanted to just lay it to rest. Was it me and my calling that ended the show?
His therapist has asked him
no.
Art, you were supposed to go along with the gag. We've been ragging him for 24 hours about this. You just blew everything wide open.
No. Look, somebody did make a comment on Belgab that I did take to heart, and that was about the Halloween show. But it wasn't because of that comment. It was because that comment was true. It was a weak show. And
why?
The reason it was a weak show is because at that point my base had pretty well gone. My call screener was unable to call the people who had sent in emails. He called quite a number of them, and then after a while was unable to get through. And, so, yes, it was a weak show, and that comment did, it hit me as being true. So it wasn't the comment itself that did it. It was simply the truth of the comment that I recognized.
Art, is there perhaps a clause in your non-compete? I don't have any knowledge about the non-competes and how they work, but is there perhaps a clause in there that you might be able to challenge because you were only on the air for such a short time?
I don't know, but I can tell you this. The non-compete covers streaming. The non-compete covers virtually every form of communication invented, and some of those not yet invented. So in other words, it covers right across the board.
So you can't even stand on your porch and talk to your neighbors without Sirius XM coming in?
Pretty close. It's very comprehensive. So if I have any hope to do what I want to do, and that is stream, then I'm going to have to legally take care of this non-compete. That's how I want to do it.
I asked this question on the forum to you. I don't know if you were able to see it. Is there anything that we common folk out here can do to help you?
It's a good question. I'm not sure what that would be. I guess, I don't know. Maybe go to Sirius and hold up signs saying "Free Art Bell."
Well, we were going to hold up "Save Evan" signs actually, but I'd be willing to go to the Art Bell side of things too. I can make more than one sign. Hi, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Art Bell, please?
Hey guys, hey Art, this is Dortmunder from the forum. I'm calling in on faulty Snoopy phone, so forgive me. But I have a question, Art. I don't know if you got a chance to see George posting last night. He was trying to do some damage control. But he mentioned something to the effect of, if Art Bell hadn't quit, then we could be going back to back right now on Channel 104.
Ugh.
And I think more than a few people laughed at that, but I was wondering what your thoughts were. Would you have ever done something like that?
Well, when I look at when George obtained his new crown, date-wise, it would suggest to me that these talks might have been going on prior to my
bet on that.
Prior to my leaving. Now, I can't be sure of that, but it certainly would suggest that.
One thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
I deal with. I rub elbows with a lot of management people, and they're always conniving. They've always got some back deal going on to cover any
contingency,
right? That might possibly show up. And well, I don't want to speculate much further than that because then I would just show how stupid I really am.
Art, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Art, something even before you announced your return to Sirius, something that I thought would have been just so awesome is if you would have run your show directly through KNI and streamed it from KNI as a KNI product and then somehow allowed other radio stations to syndicate with that. Is that something that could ever be possible in the future? Is that logistically possible? Is it a bad idea? I'm curious as to your thoughts on that.
You know what? I don't want to go back to terrestrial radio.
Really?
I don't want to. No, I've had many offers to do that, and I really don't want to do it. I want to do it on my terms, and right now my terms need...
Well, you've always been I'm sorry.
I would like to stream. I would like to stream. That's number one.
You've always been a groundbreaker in that way. I mean, you were the first one to really bring the internet into radio to begin with.
I remember in the late 90s, Art having video, in the late 90s, having video of himself doing the show from the desert in Nevada, and then like 8 years later, Rush Limbaugh starts providing video on his website and proclaims himself to be the first person ever who done it. And I'm just thinking there's a big, huge elephant in the room here, and his name's Art Bell. I don't know why he's not being mentioned here. You were a pioneer in all of those regards.
Don't forget that cats are now a really popular part of the internet, too.
Actually, guys, it goes back even further than that. We associated a BBS back in the days of dial-up.
That's right, you did.
A lot of people remember that.
With the radio program. So, yes, I think we were first out of the chute with that.
Art, another question, Art, that I've heard people ponder over many times over the course of the years is there have been a lot of people who've popped up little pirate radio streams of your show here and there on the internet, and people have always been curious as to what your take is on that, how you feel about that.
Well, okay, here you go. At the beginning, we were taken aback by the amount of pirating that was going on. It was up everywhere. My shows were showing up the next day on the internet. And then it got worse. People were doing live streams. And, God, it's like, how come everybody else can stream but me?
Isn't that just the silliness of the era we live in, the DMCA and just all the rules? I mean, everyone can break the rules except the people who are following the rules
and creating the content.
I could not have said it better.
Was Sirius actively going after these people, or were they just letting it slide?
I don't know of one instance in which they went after anybody, but they might have. I wasn't aware of it.
Hi, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Art Bell?
Hey, Michael. Hey, Curtis. Art, and everybody else. It's Jordan in Muncie.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
And club number 3.
Yeah. I've got a question. Art, you seem really interested in being on the air in some capacity now. I just wonder at what point all this becomes not worth it anymore, and also what's your motivation to be on the air? Is it money? Is it just to have something to do?
No, it's not money. Money I have. My motivation in being on the air is I love it, and I'll say this. My motivation in being on the air is because of what's on the air now. I really love a quality product, And
there's a few of those these days.
I'm trying to be careful in what I say here, but my goodness,
We'll say it after you leave.
I did turn on the radio for a few moments last night at the beginning of the other show, and the first thing I heard is the other show's host suggest that a typhoon that was over in Vietnam might be the cause of rain in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I just kind of shook my head and went,
We've been dealing with that for a decade now, and screaming in the wind. And I will tell you, the reason Bell Gab is successful is because there's a thing called Google, and on this thing called Google, people have a tendency to type the words George Norrie sucks, and I will tell you that probably 75 to 80% of the people who populate that forum found it as a result of typing those 3 words. I have never seen, with such uniformity and ubiquity, such displeasure with a radio talk show host and how he maintains this control over that show that he's maintained for a decade now. Is it it's a declining of standards among Americans, or is it just the fact that he's malleable and corporations like malleable people? What is it?
I think all that's fair. In terms of, it's fair. Look, I love the genre. I love the paranormal, and I want to see it treated fairly. I guess that's the best way I can put it. And I don't think that it's getting a fair treatment right now. Do you?
I would agree. No.
No.
It's dead to me.
It's not being challenged.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
First, a couple of things. First of all, the man can't even ask a coherent question. He doesn't follow the conversation. He's hardly ever prepared for whatever the person's talking about. And then he says inane things like, do you think comets have a brain? I mean...
And they know which side of the Earth to crash into?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I know. I know. The paranormal deserves better.
Much better.
It just needs to be...
Especially now when there's so many different things out there to hear that quality doesn't rise to the top like it should.
Well, there probably are some people out there doing pretty good shows. I don't know that they've received enough attention or wide enough distribution to be effective. And it is tough. It's a tough road to climb. I'm lucky because I've got a name. I'm lucky because I built a program. And I have to admit, I'm the one who laid down the law and said, look, if we can't stream, if we can't get to my base, if we can't see the future growth of this program, then I can't continue with it. And that was on Monday.
Yeah, that crushed me, by the way. I want you to know that. That crushed me.
Well, I think one question...
I mean, my life's a little more fuller than that, actually, but I was like, please, man, just stick it out. It'll get better. I promise it'll get better.
Well,
I guess, hold on just a second. Art, I guess that's a question for you is, what do you say to people who say, and this was my take on the matter, that 6 weeks in the context of broadcasting just isn't enough time to really build anything, and that maybe you should have stuck it out just for that reason alone? What do you say to that?
Oh, yeah, I know a lot of people say that. Well, I could have stuck it out, and when I do a show, whatever show it is, I give it 110%. I mean, I really work my butt off.
I believe that.
The show.
It shows, too.
And
why we're here.
I was willing to continue to do that, but only if we had a way forward, only if we could continue to grow it. And under those conditions, we could not continue to grow it. So I'll put forward that effort. Trust me, guys, I will keep plugging away with all my heart and all my soul, but I want to see that I have a road I can go down that's going to lead somewhere.
All right, well, let me offer you this. I live in North Carolina. The police can't find anybody in North Carolina. I got 2 acres. You can do anything you want. Just an offer. Play around with it for a while.
Talk to Erin, see what she has to say. He can help. He can hook you guys up with a really nice tool shed. It's got running water.
I got a really nice
I know North Carolina. I was born there.
Hi, you're on the air. You have a question for Art?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
Yo, Bob.
See you, Bob. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hi, Art. I would like to ask you if using the services available currently that Sirius has, and with what you've seen people that can do things on the internet with your show and your product already. Is there any viable solution out there that going forward you are seriously considering and are going to do once, even if you are held to the 2-year non-compete?
Boy, I'm not getting all this, guys. Could you repeat the
He was
question
basically asking you where you're going to conduct business if and or when you get out of the non-compete. I guess that's the gist of his question.
I think a follow-up to that is I know there was a test happening on your website for streaming. What were the results of that test?
The results of that test were very good, and if we can get out of the non-compete, we would stream from there. We'd do it from a studio here. We would stream from there. And we had servers lined up from here to Toledo, Ohio. In other words, we could have handled as many tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands as would care to stream in.
Hi, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Art? Okay, I guess not. If you want to be on the show, the number is 573-837-4948, 573-837-4948, as we chat with the legendary Art Bell, which is why my stomach hurts. As a result of nervousness. Is everyone still here, by the way? Can everyone still hear me?
Yep. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, because I think Eddie Dean was just removed from the conference. I don't know, Art, is there anything more to this situation than has been pondered publicly and pontificated over?
That can be.
Speculated on?
Well, there is, but as I've mentioned, there's information I was told in confidence, and I'm keeping that confidence,
sure.
At least up until the point that we get into some sort of
legal
situation, and then, Katie bar the door.
One question I have for you is, when you first started out with the deal with Sirius, how big was streaming in your mind at that point? Did you see it as a major vehicle for broadcasting the show, or was it something after the fact when it had a problem that you realized that, wait?
Good question.
Actually, I received a message from the management person who enticed me to come to Sirius in the first place, which suggested that the streaming was wide open, available in America, Canada, and worldwide. And, that wasn't exactly true.
No. Hi, you're on the air.
Me.
Oh, go ahead. Let's go ahead and take
Roswell.
Hey there.
This is Ben 7800.
Hey there. What's up, brother? What's up?
I was wondering what you think about the old streams, like fine art streams.
Oh, great question.
Yeah, that's basically the same question. What do you think about the pirate streams out there that are playing old Art Bell shows?
Yeah.
Okay, I was starting to say earlier that in the beginning I was pretty upset by the amount of piracy that was going on, but as the streaming difficulties became apparent, and very apparent, I told Keith, I said, look, until this gets fixed, let them go. Stop sending links back to Sirius. And we have been doing that. We've been sending links of pirate stuff back to Sirius to let them handle it. But it got so bad, it got so rough that I said, let them go. And that's where it stands.
What about in the interim, the 10 years prior to your return to Sirius? I mean, those types of streams were everywhere, just as people longed for the return of the great Art Bell. Did you ever have any thought about those streams playing your coast-to-coast shows prior to your return to Sirius?
Well, no. Those were owned by and are owned by Premier. And if Premier wanted to stop them, then Premier had to get out there and do it.
In my opinion, they've got to be the dumbest people that walk. I mean, talk about advertising for you. Playing your shows on a competing station, which is so much better than their main talent, is like.
That is odd.
I mean,
that brings up our.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Let me put it this way. During the 10 years that I was retired and Coast was on a daily basis, I frequently wondered if anybody in management at Premier actually listened to the show.
I don't think so. I really don't.
I think they looked at the amount of money coming in for advertising. That must be the.
That would be my view as well. Yeah.
I keep bashing this guy, but it's too easy.
Here's something else I want to say. I really want to say this. I originally thought, you know what, George Norrie is a nice guy. I really thought that. And I thought that was George's main attribute, that he was a nice guy. I have absolutely changed my opinion, and that began about a week prior to the program when they put on a guest who had said horrible things about me.
Oh, believe me, I said.
And then continued to get worse and worse and worse. So my opinion of George Norrie is that he lost his main attribute, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which alone isn't enough of an attribute to sustain a radio broadcast anyway. Hi, you're on the air. Do you want to ask a question of Art Bell?
Hello, this is Jack in Seattle.
Hey there.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Art, how are you?
Fine.
Oh, that's great. One quick question. Do you think that the weather on this planet is being deliberately controlled?
No, not really. I don't think we have the ability. I think we've made attempts to control the weather, but I don't think they've been successful. If we were able to control the weather, a lot of the bad stuff that's happened recently should not have occurred.
You know, I'm kind of curious, just asking Art Bell type questions rather than questions specifically about all of this business stuff. Over the years, Art, you've taken a lot of criticism from people because you're not necessarily on board or not on board at all with the whole 9/11 conspiracy notion. And that was one of the things I always appreciated about you, because you're one of the few hosts in this genre who are not walking around with tinfoil on their head believing that a missile struck the Pentagon. And I'm kind of curious if your position on the matter has evolved over the years.
No, actually not. I was awake and watching when the planes hit the trade towers and the Pentagon, and I still think the planes hit the buildings in the Pentagon. And so, no, I don't think it was somebody with dynamite or some other, C4 or whatever that blew up the buildings. It is what it was. And
I agree. I completely.
Me too.
What do you think about people out there?
And I took a hell of a lot of heat.
You did?
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Because I said that. So.
Hi, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Art Bell? Hello? And I guess you do not. Hi, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Art Bell?
No.
Hello?
But do you have anything to share with us at all?
All right. The number is 573-837-4948, 573-837-4948. Do you guys have any more questions for Art? I mean, we've really just plugged his... he must be sweating at this point. We've really worked him.
The only question I have is the last.
I'm sorry. What was the last question?
At least for me, this is Curtis. What's your opinion of podcasting and the future of that? Do you think at some point it's going to take over where terrestrial radio is now? Do you think?
I think it is a future. It's so totally the future, and I think it's even the future for Sirius XM, and I have told them as much. It is a future, and if they don't get on board, the years are going to pass them by, and the technology is going to pass them by. So, yeah, it's a future. Look out terrestrial radio. Look out AM and FM, and look out satellite radio. You either get on board, or you'll be left behind.
I don't even think podcasting is the future. I think it's the present. I can't really. I mean, aside from your show, Art, I maybe occasionally Rush. I can't really think of many shows on terrestrial radio that I would care to listen to. Everything else I listen to is in the form of a podcast, and it seems to me, as you look around at statistics across the country, radio stations are seeing record lows in their revenue. The Grim Reaper, he is knocking on the door. I just don't know how many of them really acknowledge he's standing
I think it's like the newspaper business.
I think radio is going to be around a long time. It's just everybody's got to stop trying to do the same damn thing. You can't do politics 24/7, and that's what people want to do. And it's just, that's just so incestuous. So
I agree totally. But look, the net is the future.
I agree with that.
Two ways about it. It's the future, and you're going to see a slow but sure erosion of AM and FM numbers, and you're going to see a slow but sure increase in stuff on the net. And let me tell you, Sirius XM, which is primarily aimed at vehicles right now, is in the next few years looking at internet that's going to be in vehicles, and then Katie bar the door because everybody's...
You're absolutely right there. Yeah, I agree with that.
The floodgates just open in terms of what type of content is available to you. Hi, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Art?
Yes, hi.
Hey, Art. Yeah, you're the best, man. I'm so sorry everything going on, but it was good to have you on briefly, and I know you'll be back. I know you're all for the internet and the streaming, and that's fantastic, and that's going to be your future, I'm sure. But what's to stop you from going on like a terrestrial again? And I'm sure you could get a show on the Flash. Is it you really that against it, or are you still in contract with people?
Okay, now the non-compete covers terrestrial as well, but even without the non-compete, I'm not looking to move backward. I want to move forward, and forward is the internet. So, given an opportunity to be out of this non-compete, that's the direction I'm headed. I'm going to stream.
Hi, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Art?
I sure do. This is Doug in Orlando.
Hi, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Go ahead.
I suppose this is a pretty small question compared to the big items we're dealing with here, but those shows, dark matter shows, were some of the best ever. And I would love and pay dearly to get a CD of those. Is that ever possible?
Well, again, I don't own them. I'm here big enough to admit I made a big mistake by getting involved with another large company. What I should have done is go to streaming in the first place. But I thought that here's Sirius XM, and I thought, gosh, they came at me and said, Art, we've got satellite radio all over the U.S. and Canada. It was very tempting. We've got streaming that covers the U.S., Canada, and the world, which turned out not to be quite so true. And I thought it was a good opportunity away from terrestrial radio, so I'd give it a shot. My mistake. I should have gone directly to streaming. But, hindsight is 20.
Yeah.
Hey, Art, in the course of these decisions you've made recently that led to you appearing on Sirius XM and led to your subsequent departure, people are wondering what kind of representation you have and what kind of advice you're getting. I mean, during the course of all of this, perhaps through contract negotiations and whatnot, did you have legal representation, or do you even want to comment on that?
No, I didn't. I did not.
Do you regret that, or do you feel like it was okay that you just went it solo?
Well, I'm not sure that legal representation in the beginning would have made any difference. The non-compete still would have been there. I doubt any lawyer would have managed to have that removed. So I guess the time for legal representation is coming now.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Golly.
We need to know there's a plan.
Hi, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Art Bell?
Hello?
Hey.
Join us.
Oh, it's me.
It is you.
You're on.
Yeah, this is the guy from Pittsburgh, Ken Martinez.
Oh, boy.
Not my name. Hello, Art.
We're in trouble now.
Hey, buddy.
I got a question for you no one's asked. I remember when the movie came out, and they said tornadoes couldn't appear in the L.A. basin. What about you literally reading an update? The same with the Art of Talk. If they can't keep you on radio, they can't keep you writing a book.
No, they can't keep me from writing a book, and I might just do that. You never know.
How about the Bell Gab coffee table book?
I'm buying 10 copies. Let's do it.
Hi, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Art Bell?
I do have a question for Art Bell. Well, first of all, I've already got hashtag Free Art Bell going out on Twitter and
Everybody
Facebook.
join them.
This is Matt in Phoenix, by the way. Morphia Flow on the board.
Oh, hey.
Hey, man.
So, good to talk to you. So here's my question, actually. Kind of skims the periphery of this. I know that Art and George Knapp are good friends, and I believe George Knapp still fills in on Coast. Did that ever put him in an awkward position? Is George supportive?
Did that you mean did that put George Knapp in an awkward position?
George Knapp in an
that's what I was going to say. I think George has been in an awkward position. When he came and did the story on me in the first place while he was working for Coast, I'm sure he took some grief about that. Certainly I've not been in an awkward position, but George, look, I will say it again, I think that he's a great guy. He's a good broadcaster.
Knapp.
And he does a great paranormal show, as well as a great newscast here in Las Vegas on Channel 8.
We're leaving out Ian Punnett in this. What's he up to? Do you have any idea? Do you stay in touch with him?
I don't. I know why, of course, he left the air. Medical reasons. And I don't know what he's up to.
When you say you know why he left the air, is that something the rest of us don't know?
No, he's got...
no, I think he's got tinnitus.
Yeah, tinnitus, that's it. Exactly. Yeah, because he definitely sounded like he didn't want to leave, but he had to.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I feel like we've really... I'm out of questions. What about the rest of you? I would just like to hang out with Art Bell. I mean, like, if you just want to hang out, we can have lemonade. I can ship it.
Listen, I've got dinner coming up, probably on the table already. But I did want to do this, and glad to answer any questions.
Do you primarily eat Philippine cuisine, or is it just a lot of frozen pizzas and stuff?
We eat a combination of Philippine and American food. There's a lot of good Philippine food, that's for sure.
It's spicy, though, is it not?
No, that would be Thai food. Philippine food is not quite so spicy.
Well, Art, I'm just in shock. I started listening to you when I was 13. I'm 34 now. You've been, well, can we do one more question? Just real quick?
Well, how about one more statement?
Okay.
And that is that it seems to me that Sirius XM really doesn't have a good reason to hold me to this non-compete. As long as I don't cross the hours. I mean, they are carrying coast to coast now, right? So as long as I don't cross the hours of coast to coast, it seems to me that, my goodness, after 6-7 weeks of working for them, I'd be more than glad to purchase the studio equipment that's here and just do a streaming show that does not conflict with coast and stream it. And I just don't know why they would have reason to hold me to that non-compete unless there's a reason.
Is it just anger? Revenge?
The vendetta on their part, possibly?
Can't rule that out.
Why would we? I mean, it's as possible as anything.
Yeah, I'm not in their head, so I really don't know.
We do have to remember that's a public company, so if we can put enough pressure on them, who knows what could happen.
Falky says he's buying stock, so there you go. That.
Well, Art, I feel better. I mean, I'm nervous that you called tonight. It made me nervous, and now my stomach hurts. But on the other hand, I feel reassured that wheels are in motion, as the guy on Seinfeld said. So thank you for calling very much. We're so appreciative.
You're very welcome, guys.
Yeah, thank you,
for being there.
It was great.
And
man,
vicious but vaguely lovable, and that's why I'm still there.
Thank you, Art.
Yeah, Art, if you ever want to call again, please call.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, take care, Art. That's Art Bell.
Man.
Wow.
Art Bell, everybody.
You know why I called, right?
You want to end the show now?
Are you kidding me?
You know why I called, right?
Why?
Because I was here.
I don't think anyone's denying that.
Okay. Well, I just want to make it clear.
Oh, I thought you meant maybe because of a comment you made that was considered adversarial on the forum. I was taking you seriously. Wow, I really am a stupid man. Go ahead.
You've now become #1 on my top posters to watch because someone else who held that position before is no longer there, I believe. So you now have #1 spot. Enjoy.
Oh boy, the pressure's on now.
That's right. Art Bell really today could not have been any better.
I just
man, I'll tell you what. This I never expected this night to be this way, but man,
I just can't believe that happened. I didn't even really want to do the show tonight. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Redacted.
What's up with your parentheses?
Redacted. Hey, I always thought you were a guy.
Yeah, you're a girl. Wow.
I'm always relieved.
Right,
I'm always relieved when I know that a Coast Gab user or a Bell Gab user is a female. I don't know why. I just find relief in that for some reason. Anyway, hi. How are you doing? What's up?
Oh, well, I had a great question for Art, just to leave everything on a
Ask me.
high
I'll pretend to
note.
be him.
I've got his phone number, so I can give it to you.
All right, cool, because I have to know. This is so critical, mission critical. Is he going to have Madman Markham back on the air as soon as he returns?
Art said that he's not going to be allowed on the air because Art will no longer have guests who are white. So there's that, and we have to...
Crap, I turned off my radio so I could call in. I missed the good stuff.
You know, white people everywhere we turn, we're just being bitch slapped. I don't know what we're going to do about this. How much are you going to take? I'm just kidding.
It's a burden we have to carry. What can I tell you?
What did you think about that? Wasn't that surreal, Redacted? I mean, wasn't that just... I saw the number come in. I saw the area code. And so I Google searched the area code, and I saw that it was coming from Nevada. And I thought, there's no way that's Art Bell.
While you were doing that, we were just having a conversation.
Oh, that's
Did you
because...
not? I mean, did we all just have simultaneous heart attacks?
My stomach hurts so bad right now. My stomach is in such... I swear to God, I had coffee on top of it. I really do feel like someone shanked me in the gut.
I had a
Yeah, I had 4 shots of espresso before this, and I'm just like
I had
ready
coffee
to
myself.
burst.
Yeah, I know.
I felt like I was talking to an old friend. I really did.
It was so comforting to talk to him. I'm just...
It really was. It was the best therapy.
If
We
I've ever
covered
had a man
everything.
crush...
I thought that was with me, man.
Adorable.
Hey, wait.
I
think we
just,
got a
I'm,
microphone here.
what'd you say?
Nothing.
What'd you say? I'm Joe Schnorr.
I thought the man crush was with me, man.
You're a little old. Sorry to say that, but
distinguished and seasoned.
Well,
and we can't stop now. Now we need to have the what would be the right word for it? The post-mortem after that.
Never mind.
Whatever.
Hi there. You're on the air. What do you have to say?
Hi, Michael. This is Sherry 440.
Hi, Sherry 440.
Hi.
Another female.
Yeah, female. I was going to call in and ask Art a
Careful,
question,
she's got a
and I
Smith & Wesson.
chickened out. In all the years, decades that I'd listened to him, I never called in. But I wanted to tell you, Michael, for one thing, that I thought you did a stellar job monitoring that or kind of moderating that interview with Art Bell.
Thank you. I don't believe you,
professional.
but thank you.
No, seriously. You've got what it takes there, Michael, because I remember
Michael doesn't
listening
like
to
compliments,
you
so be careful.
when it was like the train wreck. Well, this wasn't a compliment. The train wreck was sort of a train wreck, but I kind of go back a ways for you, although I've never found this particular broadcast yet.
You
But
didn't like
did a great job.
You didn't like the TrainWreck show?
I didn't like Evelyn.
You bitch.
Hush your mouth.
Let's end this podcast now. That comment cannot stand.
God, I hate women. They're no longer allowed on Belgab.
Evelyn was the only
Anyway,
one that brought
great
class to
job.
this place, but that's me.
Well, Sherry, keep playing that piano. And
Yeah, will do.
Well, by the way, what's the context in which you perform? Are you someone we know, or what do you do on the? I mean, I know you press the keys, but what do you do with the piano?
I played here in Portland for 25, maybe 30 years. In fact, I just got a call while Art was winding up from somebody wanting a pianist this Saturday night for somebody canceled. And I almost didn't want to answer. I was like, no, I want to hear the end of this. But just, the high society stuff, there's quite a high society here in Portland.
Can you give the name of the venue where you've performed?
Oh, I don't anymore, but we played at the hotels, not taverns or anything, but we played all the big hotels for all the Jewish weddings. If you were a high society person, weddings,
I am.
bar mitzvahs, all that stuff. Back in the day, there were Christmas parties, holiday parties for big companies, stock market companies, and so on. We did all that, so we only played at the big hotels, which there were probably a dozen.
That's some big bucks.
We were the band.
It is.
Yeah, big bucks. It was great.
Boy, my stomach hurts.
Well,
That's kind of dried up now. Now it's all DJs. So, but it was a good gig.
You guys, thank you, Sherry, very much, and thank you for listening to the show tonight. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I have to take a call.
Talk amongst yourselves.
We'll kibitz.
Yes.
I
feel
dead.
Go ahead. I feel the need to say, what was your favorite part of that whole experience we just had? What was the one thing that surprised you with his comments?
That he can't even broadcast from his porch.
That is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing, too, is that he clearly has the love for still being out there. Hey, looks like we have someone on the line.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ross again. I hope it's okay that I called in twice.
Oh, no, this time.
One call at a time, please, sir.
Yes.
Oh,
Turn
my
down
God,
your radio.
I was so fucking nervous when I was asking Art, just saying that to him in general. You guys just missed a unique opportunity to ask Shirley about the high society stuff. I'm sure she's played at all the cult, high society type things like in that Stanley Kubrick movie.
Did you just say the occult high society things?
Yeah, I was joking. It was a joke.
Oh, okay. All right. I just making sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. But, no, you guys did an amazing job. Onan, fuck you for being so amazingly calm the whole time. I mean, you just were perfect.
I'm on drugs. It's okay.
Yeah, it's obvious.
So what you're saying is that's a prescribed calm. Okay, I won't go there.
Well, that's nice of you to say. Thank you.
But I kind of feel like, if he had called in last week, not that as if he was going to be able to say anything that he, could have said last week. He wouldn't have had anything to say, essentially, last week. But it would have definitely calmed a lot of people's nerves. But, the fact that he did call in and explain everything and was so calm about it.
Oh, I guarantee you tomorrow, it won't even be tomorrow. I guarantee you sometime tonight, somebody's going to pick apart what he said and find reason to piss and moan about it. I guarantee you.
Someone is in their mother's basement doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
their nuts cut off if that happens.
Well, hey, as bitter as I sound when I said that, that's part of the deal. People get to post whatever they want here, and sometimes I don't like it, but sometimes it makes me think.
Oh, I'm back.
And I don't always welcome it at first, but then I go back and think about it like, hey, he's got as much right to post as I do, so I bitch and moan, but, there it is.
That's true.
It's like being at the bar. I mean, not everyone's going to have the same opinion as you.
Exactly, and I got enough broken bones to show that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Being at a completely fucking batshit crazy bar this past week.
That's true. That's true.
And I want to comment on something that Art said about the impression that he had about George being a nice guy, and how that was the one quality. There's so many things that I think are going to come out in the next few weeks.
God, I hope so.
I know.
Well, if Art goes the legal route, there's the discovery process, which is going to expose pretty much anything that hasn't been exposed thus far.
Exactly, but I'm talking with foreign users.
On October 10th of 2000, or October 23rd of 2002, Art Bell made his second point of saying, George gets it. And I always felt like, and my comment has always been that I felt like Art got caught with a hooker and was trying to pass her off as his cousin.
I think Art was just doing people. I think Art had a lot of friends in Premier Radio at that time, or Clear Channel, however you want to view it. And maybe he was just doing them a favor, trying to be a nice guy, and trying to facilitate a smooth transition. I don't think it was much more than that, though.
He was just towing the line. That's all.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a little bit of. I mean, back in the day, he had a stake, right, in the advertising and all of that. That's what made him so powerful in the beginning. It wouldn't surprise me if there was some kind of dwindling down of his value in it and what he was getting, and he didn't want to ruin the stock that he had helped build.
I think he said the bare minimum. He said the bare minimum of what what it was needed. He didn't give a glowing review. He just said George gets it. George gets it.
I guess it's just my overall. I guess just my overall dislike of George that just, well, never mind. You don't know how I feel.
Hey, we got another caller. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, I've got an answer to all the problems. We need a Bell Gab satellite in orbit.
That's already there, sir.
Already there. There may be one watching you right now.
That's how we. Yep. That's how we handle the moderation system. See, it goes through a satellite, and then it's uplinked to the junction box and the sprocket detachment mechanism. Which I don't know.
We should name it Aldous 1.
And that's
I'd like that. Yeah. I'd like that.
Is this Aldous Burbank?
No, I just think that would be a good name for satellite.
Aldous 1.
Who is this? Who is this?
All right, thanks, guys.
Who is this?
Who is this? Who?
That's My Slayer, Monk.
I enjoy your post, sir.
All right, thank you very much. All right.
That's kind of my shtick. To tell everyone who calls that they're one of my favorite posters.
You mean it's not true?
Well, I don't really know what more to say. We had Art Bell on the show
for
himself.
Hour.
I mean, we can sit here and speculate as to everything that's happening, but we had the man himself. What more do you people want from us? Hi, Jasmine. You want to say something? My little baby is sitting here on my lap. I can't believe she hasn't said a word. Normally, she won't be quiet. Hey, baby. Say something. Say hi. She's being shy. She's just staring at the microphone in wonder. What is this thing?
Is Art Bell on the other side of that?
This is not a biscuit. It is in fact a microphone. Say hi. Say hamido. That's some Arabic thing. I don't even know what it means. Say hamido. Say it. She's smiling. It's as if she knows she's on an internationally recognized radio show.
Well, we're being simulcast on something else?
I don't know.
I was going to say. TMZ?
I open sourced this thing, baby. Yeah. I don't know what people are doing with it. Anyway, is the show over? I kind of have that feeling we should leave on a high note.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no point in trying to just
I had
drag this thing out.
We can't outdo
awesome.
that.
This was awesome. This will be hard to top.
And with that, I agree. This is the Gabcast. I'm MV from BellGab.com. We have the Mud King. We have Eddie Dean and Onan. What
yeah, good talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Pray for Goatsy.
Pray for Goatsy.
That's it.
See you guys.
Good night,
Have a good
everybody.
night. We'll see you next week.